I'm Peaches, and you're watching the Dominic King channel.
This is the DK Project, broadcasting live from Top of the World Studios, hosted by Dominic King.
Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the podcast. This is the DK Project, and I'm your host, Dominic King. Thank you for joining us. If you're on YouTube, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, click the bell notifications icon so you get notified when new videos are coming out. Also, don't forget to comment below. If you're on podcast, thank you for listening. Keep on downloading. I love all my podcast freaks out there. Real quick shout outs to Sarah, Wesley, Mom85 for showing love in the comments. Appreciate you guys very, very much. Tonight on the show, we have Peaches. She's an ABDL Diaper Girl, submissive, bisexual, polyamorous young lady into puppy play and many things BDSM. Also, of note, soon to be my latest Diaper Girl victim. More details to come. More details to come. You can find her on Instagram at the Bratty Princess Page, and that is Page, P-A-G-E, not the other spelling, like turn the page. Welcome to the show, Peaches. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm awesome, man. Are you excited? You ready to talk?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm quite the chatterbox right now, so.
And I'll tell you what, everybody that's watching this is really excited because you're gonna shoot with me. We're gonna do some cool stuff, and we're gonna get into some of that here in a little bit. But first, why don't you tell us a little more about you and a little background about your kinky fetishes and all your things?
Well, I think I started off how a lot of, ABDLs say they started off. Like, I always knew, like, there was something a little bit different who I was. And then, of course, I was more of, like, I watched from afar. I never really entered in until I was about 18. So I've always had an interest. And then I think whenever I was 18, finally moved to my own house, I bought my first pack of, like, real, like, ABDL dips. And I was
ABDL what?
dips.
Yeah. Say the D word.
Diapers. Might be starting to go red. But I bought those and I fell in love ever since, and I have been riding the train ever since. Probably whenever I was about I would say 20 or so, I jumped into the full BDSM world, and I did a couple things like you talked about. I was into puppy play. I'm into like latex and everything. So I have a couple other interests like general bondage and love service and stuff. But primarily, like I started off ABDL, and that's where I am today.
Wow, that's awesome. So we're gonna have a lot of fun, and we're gonna try and incorporate a couple things into our shoot when we do some stuff. But I wanted to ask you real quick, because people always want to know this type of stuff. How did you find me, and what was like the first experience where you're like, oh, there's this guy?
So I run into the same thing whenever I look for things to watch whenever, it's that time. And I would always type in, the same things. Like, I started out reading, like, captions, which I don't know if you're familiar with those are. They're super cheesy, but, like, Diaper Girl captions. I used to, like, type that in. And then I started moving into video work, and I found you a couple years back, and it was really, really, it was, like, one of the more, it got me started in heavier ABDL play, and I really enjoyed that. So yeah, that's kind of how I found you personally.
Wow. And where? Instagram?
Yeah, I saw you made Instagram and I followed you. And there.
Oh, did you ever go on Pornhub?
Yeah. Oh.
You saw? Yeah. Are you in videos on Pornhub? Do I have to go look?
Not on Pornhub, but somewhere.
All right, we're gonna have to go see if we can find some of those later on. But you've seen some of my stuff on Pornhub too, I imagine.
Oh yeah.
Some of those. Oh yeah, you're so bad, so naughty. Don't worry. Soon enough, we're gonna be spanking those cheeks. Soon enough. All right. So, segment 2, I want to do the shoot stuff. Let's see. We're at 5 minutes, so we got a couple of minutes here that we can go through. Can we talk about a little bit about maybe some of the? You said that you have medical stuff, and you've been wearing diapers a little bit more for need. Would you mind expanding and letting people understand?
Sure thing. About, I would say, about like 4 months ago, I had an incident where I was just like washing the dishes and something happened and it just like made my pants. And it was not like a time where I was in the mood to do that. I had prepped to do that because obviously I am an adult. I go through my adult days. I'm not always little. So like this was a very big surprise for me. So that bled into like nighttime like accidents and everything. And at first it kind of put me in a standstill because it was like, okay, well I have this kink and fetish, but I also have this need to wear them. And it was kind of morally difficult because I was almost running away from the kink. Luckily, I had a couple people within the community that, came to me with open arms and they explained this to me. And I watched a couple podcasts that talked about, being an ABDL and having them as a medical need. And that really made me feel a little bit more comfortable. I still have to wear them a nightly basis. And you know what? That's fine. I'm comfortable with it. I've grown to understand that that's what I need to do in this moment.
Right.
But yeah, it's a little tricky because there is no like one answer to why this is happening. It's like doctors are kind of at a standstill right now, but it's fine.
Wow, that's interesting too, because I can't imagine having like the fetish stuff and the kink stuff, and then all of a sudden it's like kind of becoming a reality for you. You can't necessarily separate them even if you wanted to. It's kind of happening to you.
Yeah, it is kind of difficult because even I live with my primary partner, so it's kind of like some nights, like I just handle it on my own because it is a nightly activity. Kink is not always involved with it. But occasionally, like sometimes, like we'll get into the role play and like he'll change me for bed and we'll do a nighttime routine. But it's very interesting. I've never experienced anything like it. I wouldn't wish it upon anyone else, but then again, I'm not severely struggling with it as much as I used to.
Right. Makes a lot of sense too. I just want to hit on a couple of things. So puppy play.
Yeah.
So for folks that don't know, what is puppy play?
Well, I mean, puppy play can be a couple of different things for certain people. For me, puppy play is getting into kind of like a puppy space per se. My puppy space is very like I want to please. I want to make sure I'm doing everything that I'm instructed to do by my dominant at that point in time. I'll do a lot of ties. So I have knee and elbow pads. So what we'll do is we'll tie my arms and like
We're losing you here. No, my goodness.
not space, but I've been crated. That's been fun. It's a great, like, I think of the kink world as like this great amusement park, and like I want to ride all the rides and try everything.
I had I just lost feed from you a little bit in there, so I'm not 100% sure if it came out or not. But we're just gonna keep on rolling. If I have to edit that, I will. But we'll make it work. But man, I was getting into that. So puppy play. Do you do tushy plugs, like little puppy tail?
Well, I have a silicone puppy tail that sticks out so I can wag it. It's it's really cute. I am going through like general like anal training right now, which it was always like kind of like a soft limit for me, but I'm glad like I have like a very patient top to like help me assist.
That's great. That's great because anal play gets a bad rap, I think, a lot of times, and people don't understand or really know how to do it. So if you get into it or you tried it with someone else and they don't know what the fuck they're doing, and then all of a sudden you can figure out the things, like it's just another tool in the bag. It can help with a lot of the submissive stuff, a lot of the humiliation, all that kind of stuff. But if you mess with somebody that doesn't know what they're doing, it's bad news, But if you can get in there and you have someone that knows what they're doing, can show you how to do it properly, it can be a lot of fun. So if you're watching this at home and you're interested, but you had a bad experience, it's not something to write off because of that. And done correctly, it is not painful. If you push yourself, it could be a little bit, but you need to go at your own pace. Am I right?
Slow and steady. I suggest starting with like a silicone plug set, then moving into like the harder metals, and then finally like going at it. I have not had that experience quite yet. Like I said, we are slowly trailing along, but I'll get there.
Right. I used, I'm not sure if you saw Kit Kat the Brighter, you know her on the interwebs, but she did a shoot with me a couple months ago, and she had a really bad experience with her ex doing anal play in general. And, you know, I was telling her, like, look, it's not really a thing. What we're going to do, it's really easy. I use like the training set anal beads, and they're relatively small to start, and they build up, and they get, you know, not huge, not anything crazy. They're not metal, so they do have some give to them. It's kind of what you were mentioning too before. But you know, we did the things, and then like right after, she's like, "Oh my god, I can't believe that was it." Like it's really not bad, but it does give you that sensation that you have a full bottom, your hiney's full, and it can kind of like, you know, get you mentally in that space. So for the folks out there that have been thinking about it, or you have an interest in it, you have to do it, but you have to do it the proper way, you know. And if you're not 100% sure, go out there and do some research and learn something. Message. Be sure to respond to people if you have questions. I think we're going to wrap up segment number 1. Is there anything about your stuff or things in general that you want to hit that maybe we missed?
I don't think so. I mean, I think we covered anything, but if anyone has any questions, like, feel free to DM me. I will tell you. You can comment. I'll try to answer you as best as I can.
You can DM on Instagram at the Bratty Princess page, and that's page Page. Check her out on Instagram. DM her there. You can leave comments below. I'll respond to those. I imagine if you're around, you'll be able to hit those up as well. So that's segment 1. We're going to call this section a wrap, but segment 2, you're going to want to stay tuned. You want to check that out because we're going to go through a little bit about what we're going to shoot, and we're going to go through a little bit about what you're wearing. And if you're on the audio side of this, you need to go find the video because Peaches is no joke. You want to take a look. So we're going to be right back. Segment 2 coming up. Stay tuned. If you're on the podcast, we're going to see in about 30 seconds. We got to pay the bills real quick. If you're on YouTube, you're going to find us tomorrow. The second episode will be coming out. Don't fuck around. All right, be right back.